Minasan konnichiwa, Mimiru desu. It wasn't that long ago that Japanese ports were absolute giants in the world of global trade. They were the critical hubs, the center of the action. But today, a new breed of colossal container ship is sailing the seas, and these behemoths threaten to leave Japan in their wake. This is the story of Japan's high-stakes race to modernize its ports before it gets bypassed entirely. So let's kick things off by seeing just how much the game has changed.
To really get what's at stake here, we've got to rewind the clock a bit. For decades, Japan was a true powerhouse in maritime shipping, a vital link in the whole world supply chain. But as you're about to see, the tide has turned, and I mean dramatically.
Okay, this slide right here tells such a powerful story. On the left, you've got 1990, and look at that. Kobe is sitting proudly at number 5 in the entire world. Now let's fast forward to 2022 on the right. See any Japanese ports in the top 10? Nope, not a single one. The global map of shipping has been completely redrawn right under our noses.
So, what on earth happened? How did this massive shift happen so quickly? Well, it really all boils down to a revolution that changed the very physics of global trade.
The first, and you could argue the most important factor, is just the unbelievable size of the ships themselves. We are talking about a complete and total transformation in scale. Just check out this timeline. Back in 1968, Japan's very first container ship could carry around 750 standard containers, what we call TEUs. Now jump to 2024. The biggest ships out there can haul over 24,000. That is a more than 30-fold increase in capacity. It's just an incredible leap in efficiency. And this slide, wow, it really puts that change into perspective. On the left, that's the pioneering ship from the 60s. On the right, a modern megaship that's basically a floating skyscraper, packed with cargo. You see, a bigger ship means a lower cost to move each container. And in the world of shipping, cost is absolutely everything. But there's a catch. These giants are picky. They need harbors with incredibly deep water and terminals decked out with gigantic cranes. This has forced all the shipping companies to consolidate their routes. They now call on fewer, but much larger hub ports where they can load and unload massive volumes all in one go. And this chart shows you the direct result of all that consolidation. Take a look at the weekly calls from the major shipping lines. Singapore and Shanghai, they each see over 100 calls a week. Japan's 2 main port regions combined, we're talking only around 30 to 40. The megaships are literally sailing right past Japan.
So where does all of Japan's cargo go? Well, a lot of it now takes a detour. This chart is pretty revealing. A huge portion, 17% of all the cargo that gets rerouted through South Korea's massive Busan hub is actually coming from or going to Japan. It gets sent there on smaller ships just to be loaded onto the mega ships for the long-haul journey.
Now, this isn't just about rankings or national pride. Being sidelined from the main arteries of global trade has some really severe economic consequences, and it can create a dangerous downward spiral.
It creates this really nasty, vicious cycle. Fewer direct port calls mean higher costs and longer, less reliable shipping times. So if you're a Japanese business, that means your products get to customers slower and at a higher price. This makes the country less attractive for manufacturing, which can lead to companies moving their operations elsewhere, which, you guessed it, reduces cargo volumes even further.
And if this all sounds a bit theoretical, well, the COVID-19 pandemic gave us a very real and very painful stress test of this new reality. It exposed just how fragile these longer supply chains have become. Let's look at the actual numbers here. Before the pandemic, shipping to North America's West Coast took about 20 days. Didn't matter if you went direct or through Busan. But at the peak of the disruption in 2021, that route through Busan ballooned to 70 to 90 days. The direct route, while still delayed, was much shorter at around 40 to 50 days. That kind of delay can be the difference between profit and, well, bankruptcy for a business.
So, faced with this clear and present danger, the Japanese government decided it could not just watch from the sidelines anymore. It has launched a massive national strategy to fight back.
And the centerpiece of this whole effort is the International Container Strategic Port Policy. It's basically a super focused plan to make Japan's key ports, specifically the Keihin region around Tokyo and the Hanshin region around Osaka and Kobe, globally competitive once again.
The entire strategy is built on 3 core pillars. Each one is designed to tackle a different part of the problem: cargo collection, cargo creation, and strengthening competitiveness. All right, so let's break down what each of these actually means.
Okay, pillar number 1 is shuka, which means cargo collection. The idea here is pretty simple. If you can't be the final destination for every single megaship, become a convenient hub for someone else. Japan is aiming to attract cargo from booming Southeast Asia, reroute it through its own ports to the Americas, and in the process boost its own domestic feeder network by up to 50%.
The second pillar is soka, or cargo creation. This is about building an entire economic ecosystem right around the port itself. By developing these advanced logistics parks right next to the terminals, the goal is to attract businesses that do things like processing and assembly. This generates brand new cargo that doesn't have to be trucked in from miles and miles away.
And that brings us to the third and frankly most critical pillar, Kyoso Ryoku Kyoka, or strengthening competitiveness. This is where the real heavy lifting happens. It means physically upgrading the ports, like the massive terminals you see right here in Yokohama and Kobe, to meet the insane demands of modern shipping.
I mean, it's simple, right? You just can't attract a 24,000 TEU megaship without a parking spot that's big enough for it. So this means dredging deeper channels, building longer berths, and expanding terminal space. But it's not just about concrete and steel. It's also about making the ports a whole lot smarter. Japan's vision for the future is what they're calling the AI terminal. The goal here is to create one of the most productive and efficient port environments anywhere in the world by using technology to support human workers, not necessarily to replace them.
And this involves a whole suite of cool innovations. We're talking about using AI to optimize every single crane and truck movement, allowing cranes to be operated remotely from comfy control rooms, automating gate processing, and even using predictive maintenance to fix equipment before it even breaks down. It's all about making the port faster, smarter, and a better place to work. So, Japan has charted its course. The investments is flowing, and the strategy is crystal clear. Collect more cargo, create new cargo, and compete with world-class infrastructure and technology. But you know, in the fast-moving world of global trade, the only thing you can count on is change. So the big question is, will all of this be enough to finally turn the tide?
このチャンネルが興味深いと思った方はチャンネル登録といいねボタンをよろしく。